Hello, hi. Welcome back to our Kubernetes series. Today we'll be discussing on Kubernetes volumes concept. We will be seeing what is the problem without a volume and what is the Kubernetes volume, how exactly Kubernetes volume works, and end-to-end flow. And also we'll be seeing why the volumes are essential, some common volume types like entry, empty directory, host path, as well as persistent volumes, storage like cloud storage types. And also we'll be seeing the dead pod plus persistent volume, how exactly the persistent volume is going to help with the real world use case. And we'll be seeing the key volume concepts like that must be known or key points about the volume and a quick recap about the discussion. Now, without further ado, let's enter into the discussion and have a understanding about the Kubernetes volume. So it is all about maintaining a persistent storage in Kubernetes. So what it does was it keeps your data safe across the um, whenever the container restarts. Okay, so this is how exactly on high level. Let's say we have an storage that was in a pod, and we have a pod in that we have here two containers. So here, whenever this restarts, if we mount this particular volume to the container, then the data is persistent across the containers. Okay, data will be survives. Okay, and now let us understand what happens without a volume or what is the problem. First thing was containers are ephemeral in nature. So that means whenever it was restarted, okay, containers are designed in such a way to start, run, and stop. It is basically temporary in nature. It won't have by default storage capability, and the data or logs or whatever the work done inside a container that will be lost. That is the ephemeral. Okay, and also whenever it crashes, the data lost forever, as I said. So anything writes within that particular container file system that will vanishes on restart, and the database will needs a persistence. So I mean database needs a persistent. So here is where the customer records or logs or any upload files all will disappear without proper storage attachment. Here containers cannot share the data, so two containers in the same pod cannot exchange the data without a volume. So for real world understanding, imagine writing your notes on a whiteboard, and let's say if you go out or leave the classroom, someone is wiping out. Okay, so that is how exactly the containers also works. Whenever that was restarted or recreated or started and stopped, in that case the data will be lost without a volume. Now let us understand a simple diagrammatic representation of whatever the points we have just discussed. So there is a container without a volume mount. So whenever I mean in this part, if the container was restarted, the data which is residing in this particular pod that will be gone here. Okay, and here the container file system wiped out cleanly, and whatever the database files, logs, all the uploads all gone. So here these are the things get lost without a volume: database records and tables, application logs and files, user uploaded files, configuration files written at runtime, everything will be lost. So this is the problem. So how this problem can be resolved? By using a volumes. Now let us see what is the concept of volumes in Kubernetes. First thing, it is a storage attached to a pod. So it is not attached to a container, and it lives at the pod level and accessible by all the containers inside the pod. So here the data exists outside the container file system. So it survives whenever the container crashes or else restarts inside the pod. And it is going to share between the containers in the same pod. Let's say if the container A writes, container B can read it. The same data location, we just need to map it. Okay. And here it is going to mounted at a specific path. We are going to declare in the pod specifications. This is how example it looks like slash data or slash var logs. Okay, so here is the how exactly volume inside a pod. Okay, we have a one pod and two containers. If we have a shared volume, this particular volume is residing in the node level. Okay, and it was mounted at slash data. Okay, and here the data is going to survive after the container restart also. Okay, and it is going to maintain a volume life cycle that is obviously equals to the pod lifecycle. Okay, and if the pod was restarted, then the data will be lost. I will be discussing more about that challenges also. Okay, and this is what exactly the volumes in Kubernetes. Now let us understand how the volumes work, like end-to-end flow. Okay, first thing, a pod is created with a volume declared, and the pod specifications is going to define your volume name, volume type. Is it a empty directory, host path, persistent volume, cloud managed volume? There are certain types. Okay, and mount the pod. Okay, and then once the pod was created and path was mounted, Kubernetes mounts a volume into the container. That means the volume will appears as a folder within the container at a specific path. It seems to be like slash data like that. Okay, and then once Kubernetes mounts a volume into a container, then container will reads as well as writes the data to that particular volume. So all the application, it writes a database records, logs, files, all go into the volume which was mounted to the particular container. Okay, and it was not in a container level; it was in a pod level. Okay, pod lifecycle and lifecycle it will be maintained. Whenever the container crashes or restarted, here container file system is wiped out, but the volume data is untouched and still that is safe. And whenever the new container starts, the same volume is remounted. So the container, I mean the whatever the data or logs or any information updated in the earlier container, the same is mounted to the new container also. So this is the diagrammatic representation of data flow. Okay, initially the pod was declared, and that is going to declare your volume. Okay, and the volume is mounted at this particular path, then that is going to read write the container works. Okay, and if the container crashes, volume will remain safe, and the container restarted and data, I mean the same, what we can say, volume was remounted, and data is safely presented and accessible. Now let us see some key insights about the volume. Okay, why exactly volumes are essential. Okay, first thing was it is going to prevent the data loss. So the application data is never tied to a container lifecycle. So we can restart the containers safely. And it enables a data sharing also. So the multiple containers in the pod can read, write to the same volume simultaneously. And it requires for stateful applications, especially the databases like MySQL, MongoDB, Postgres, that cannot function without a persistent storage. And also it stores the logs and files reliably. The log files, config files, and some user uploaded files are kept safer across all the restarts also. And also final point was it improves the application reliability. That means the production grade application depends on the volumes for a consistent as well as a predictable storage. So without volumes, obviously you cannot run your real databases within your Kubernetes. Each and every start will destroy your database, right? So this is the without volume, and this is the with volume. Okay, if you have a database pod which have some 1,000 records, so if it was restarted, then boom, it was gone. The data, all the data records are gone. Let's say in the volume mounted case, the data same database is present, and even after the volume, I mean the pod restart also, uh, even after the container restart also, the data is safely present. Okay, and now let us understand some common types of volumes. Okay, so I will be giving some high level overview on these four types. Okay, entry point, host path, persistent volumes, cloud storage types. So entry point, we can say it is a temporary sharing storage. So it is going to create it when pods are started, and exists as long as pod is available. And also it deletes whenever the pod is removed, and it is very much perfect for sharing the temporary files between the containers. We can share it, it can be shared between the containers in the pod, in the same pod. Okay, and it will be deleted whenever the pod is removed. That is a drawback here. And coming to the host path, so it is a node file system access. So it is going to mount a directory from the host nodes file system into the pod. So it is useful for accessing the node level logs or testing, and it is not recommended for the production, and it is good for development and testing environment. And there is no like portable, I mean, it is not portable across the nodes. So that is the challenge with the host path. Now coming to the persistent volumes. So we can say persistent volume clients. It is a long-term as well as durable storage and recommended for production workloads. It is going to servers behind the pod lifecycle. So it is going to use it for databases and the production workloads. requesting using a requested especially using for persistent volume climbs. So it is going to service even after the pod deletion also, and also protects the database. So it uses the external database actually. And coming to the cloud storage types, those are managed by the cloud providers. Cloud providers offer native storage integrations like AWS, EBS Volume, Google Persistent Disk, Azure Disk. Those are managed as well as scalable and highly durable. And these are a fully managed and scalable solution or volume type offered by the cloud providers. And a quick, what we can say, comparison between these these four volume types, okay, where exactly the data lives. If you see entry empty directory, so data lives in the node file system, okay, and in the host path, the data lies in node file system. And coming to the PV and PVC, there is a external database. And for cloud PV, the cloud provider disk or cloud provider service offers that, okay. And coming to the service after container restart, each and every volume type will can be survived. And coming to the service after pod deletion, obviously empty directory works as long as pod lives. If it was restarted, no. And remaining volumes, it works even after the pod restart also. And coming to the node restart, even after the node restart, all those volumes will offer or will be persisted. And empty directory, obviously, it ends in pod level itself. So how can it come to the till node level? Obviously, it won't work. Now let us see a kind of real world example of a database pod where we need a persistent volume. Okay, so this is a real use cases how exactly in organization the volumes are very much essential. Let's say, let's take a scenario where a MySQL database pod that stores your customer records for an e-commerce application. So obviously, without a volume, the database, if the database pod crashed, all the customer records, all the customer orders, and the user data are permanently deleted. So with the volume mounting, the database pod, if it was crashed, it is going to restart a new pod, and there is a volume mount, the same volume mounted to the new pod also, and all the data is present and safe. And it is essential for production workloads. Any real application like banking application, shopping, or any social media application that requires a persistent storage. And here is how exactly a e-commerce database like a pod, if we have a MySQL container, and if the volume was mounted, all the customer data will be stored safely. If the pod restarts or crash, then MySQL pod also will get restarted. Okay, and we already have a volume like stored, like volume mounted. The same volume is mounted to the restarted, like newly created container, and all the data, like customer data, every record is present, and there is no data loss. Business will continue as usual. Now let us see some important concepts like uh, that must be known, especially with respect to the volumes. First thing, volume mounting. What is volume mounting, shared storage, and temp versus persistent storage? We'll be seeing volume mounting is basically how exactly the storage connects to the containers. Okay, so there is a volume declared within the pod specification YAML file. That is the one way, and the container specifies a mount path like this slash data, and Kubernetes mounts volumes at that particular path automatically. So it is like just like a plugin in a USB drive, so that the data will appears at that particular specific path. Okay, that will be detected. Okay, and coming to the shared storage, so it is especially for multiple containers, and there will be a one volume. In that case, we are going to go with shared storage. So here in shared storage, all the containers in the pod will share the volume, and one can write here logs, another can process them or read them. Okay, and it is a classic sidebar. Sorry, the classic sidecar container pattern in Kubernetes. And here is how exactly it looks like. Okay, there is a app container that writes a logs, and there is a shared volume and sidecar container that reads the logs. Okay, this particular shared volume is shared across the app container as well as sidecar container both. Okay, now coming to the temp versus persistent. So we are going to choose based upon the requirement, especially for like temporary workloads, and to delete I mean to maintain the volume or data across the pod lifecycle. In that case, we can go with the empty directory, and we can choose the persistent volume and persistent volume claim, PV and PVCs, to uh, persistent volume, like external volume, external database need to be used, uh, and data is stored external safely. And it is especially for stateful applications always need a persistent. In that case, we can choose a persistent one. Okay, persistent volume. And coming to a quick recap out of the discussion what we just covered, the key takeaways of this discussion was volumes are attached to the pods. Okay, and it is going to survive the, I mean, if no volume, obviously data will be lost. Okay, if volume, uh, if it was attached to a proper storage, um, sorry, if it was properly mounted, okay, volume mounted, then the data is stored safely, and it can be shared between the containers also. And there is a entry point, host path, persistent volume, cloud managed volumes. Okay, and yeah, these are the some things we just discussed in this particular video. In the upcoming video, we'll be more deep diving into persistent volume. I hope so you found some useful information out of this particular video. And at end, one simple point or one final point with respect to the volumes. Here, container is like a temporary worker, and volume is the locker that keeps all files in a safely manner. Always use volumes for real data. Okay, and see you in upcoming video. Stay tuned for more videos. All the best for your learning. Thanks for watching.